Rossi, the guy with the eye here, and as a photographer, you go through a stage in your life where you don't know what camera to get, what camera brand to start out with. Well, I'm here to tell you how I started and how I chose to go the way I went, because there's a lot of things you can keep in mind when deciding between especially a Canon or Nikon camera. Which one do you start out with? Why do you do it? What's the point? What's the purpose? Here's some tips, here's some info that can hopefully help you out. Since it's December at the making of this video, it's the holidays, it's Christmas. You want something for the holidays, but if it's not, it's just another day that you're watching this. But back on point, Canon or Nikon, why do you want it? What can help you? Let's go. Now to kind of give you a little bit of background about myself, my first camera that I ever bought was from a Best Buy, an electronics store, and it was the Nikon D3000. Now it's an older camera now, it's very entry level, but you can get started. You don't have to spend a ton of money at first to learn photography. So why did I choose Nikon over Canon? Well, to me, it comes down to the first thing, and it's pretty much unique. Right away, as soon as you feel one camera over the other, you're going to appreciate it and you're going to be more comfortable. So the ergonomics, the feel to the actual camera, the feel to the body was better for me for the Nikon side. It felt a little beefier, it felt better, and a little better made, you know, back then. So I always just kind of stuck with the Nikon line. But that's one thing I always recommend to people as I put my camera down, is to go, you know, get hands-on with both. Yes, it's great. Yeah, if you just hold one, you'll probably go with that. But to give yourself a better, a more fair option, you know, it's not just one side wins only or one side doesn't. Go and get hands-on with the cameras. Go to a local store. Go to a local camera shop if you have one. Go to New York. Go to B&H Photo and play with a bunch of them. And you'll get a specific, unique feel that you'll feel is so much better. So that is a really huge selling factor that I recommend to a lot of people. Touch the cameras. Another popular reason is lens options. What are you looking for? Canon makes one of the best macro lenses ever made. They're 100mm 2.8, but Nikon has a solid line of their 70-200s, tilt shift, all this kind of stuff. There's just a lot of options between both sides. You know, and there's a different price point as well, and that's another point to bring up. You know, Canon in some regards tends to be a little cheaper. Nikon lenses tend to be a little more expensive. So if that's something that deters you, you know, keep that in mind. Nikon lenses tend to hold up better with lower light. Their 2.8s look a lot better. They're softer focus. And Canon, sometimes, it all depends, especially a lot of their older stuff now, it's not as tack sharp, but Canon's got a really strong selection of primes. They're way more unique in that department, where Nikon has more of the zoom variety. So that's one thing you might want to keep in mind. Do you want prime lenses? Yes, they're sharper, but they can be limiting because you have to physically zoom with your feet. Whereas you could be more versatile with a zoom lens. So keep that in mind as well when you're picking between the brands. Go look at lens options. There's one that will suit you more for how you're shooting. Speaking of shooting, what are you shooting? If you need something with faster frames per second, you're going to obviously have to spend more money, but you know, the higher end, or you know, over $1,000, $2,000 cameras have better frames per second, to where if you continuously shoot, you hear, you can track sports better, even though you should kind of pick your moments and timing. But it all depends on what you want to shoot. You know, there's a bunch of these higher megapixels out now that, you know, it's unnecessary for most people because they don't understand why they use them. But sports can benefit from higher megapixels. But if you're just generally, you know, portraits and headshots, mainly some studio work, but then there's just your regular 18 megapixels, even older 12 megapixel cameras. They could do your everyday work. I use my Nikon D700 where it's a 12 megapixel camera. So don't get caught up in the megapixel game, but understand what you're trying to buy, frame it around how you're trying to shoot. So that's a really big option. You know, if you're really into sports, look for a body that can do 6-7 frames per second, and then you can get, you know, a nice solid shot. Whereas others just look for basic, you know, how does the ISO work in lower light? There's some better cameras out there, not even just going to full frame, because a lot of the crop sensor, APS-C, you know, crop sensor for Nikon DX work really well in low light now compared to years past. So keep that in mind. What are you shooting? Write that down. Another huge point to bring up is its features. What are you looking for? Now, I always feel, even though I'm a Nikon shooter, I do use Canon video on the side for videography work. I feel that Canon's menu system is definitely laid out a bit better, but that is something that you should go hands-on. You should see, you should do a lot of reviews on, watch a lot of tape to see what suits you better? What are you using for? Nikon's better in the lower light. It's pretty much known out there. Canon takes the video side. What are you buying your camera for? If you want more of the straight up professional video, Canon's a great option. But if you want a better integration, not saying Canon's bad on the still side, I always say Canon is great on the video side, and Nikon has its game with the ISO and its lens selection for the still side of photography. So it all depends. Canon's really, really great for video, especially with like other things you can add to it, even though it's not the greatest, like, you know, Magic Lantern or something like that, which I don't want to confuse you with. Nikon really has its side with photography and all the options that it allows. So just keep that in mind as well. What features are you looking for? You know, menu options, what inputs does it have? Are you trying to hook up a monitor, which I have right here, that it needs an HDMI out? Does it need a mic plug-in? Do you need all this kind of stuff? It's just important to see what it offers you, what the camera can do for you, what shooting modes it allows, what autofocusing. Read up on a lot of the stuff. Yes, it can be confusing, but hey, ask for help anytime. And you know, you should be able to find something that really, really suits your needs. It's just something you really have to think about as a camera is an investment. So kind of my overall thoughts just to round things out. It really does come down to the user. Yes, that's the easy way out of recommending something, but it does. I can't tell you what to like. I can't tell you because I like to feel the Nikon camera that you're gonna like to feel, or that you like, you know, some other feature that Canon or whatever other company you want to go with, it does for you. So one is not always alike. That's why it's always a unique experience. That's why it's a unique bonding with your camera, because you get a sense of, I'm comfortable using this, and that's really, really important. And, you know, it's not just the camera body, it's the lens, it's the user, it's you who should go out and get acclimated to really what are you looking for. You're spending a lot of money, as I mentioned price earlier on in the video. Canon or Nikon, obviously, it's your choice, duh, but it's the biggest thing is its feel. You're going to instantly feel which one's right for you. You know, you're going to do these comparisons side by side. Oh, should I get the Canon 6D or the Nikon D610? Should I get the, you know, Canon T5i or the Nikon D7100? All are great cameras. What works for you? As I listed, all things you should look out for essentially. What are you shooting? What are you doing? Why do you need it? Question yourself, write a pro and con list, write this out. It can really, really help you. It helped me when I chose my first camera, even though I didn't 100% know what I wanted, but I understood what I wanted to do. I wanted to learn. I didn't want to spend a ton of money at first. It got me through my first photography classes, and then it developed from there. I learned to upgrade from there. I actually wrote out a pro and con list that said, this is why I was being restricted. I needed better low light because I wanted to shoot, you know, start shooting weddings and stuff like that. So then I progressed. I moved up to full frame gear completely now. So that's what you could do. Hopefully this helped you out. If you guys have any questions or comments, please leave those down below. I'll answer any questions you guys have. Once again, Canon or Nikon, it all depends on you. Keep an eye out. Good luck. And if you're getting these for holidays, have a happy holidays. And if you're watching this when it's not like December, maybe happy birthday or something. I don't know. Have a good one.